welcome back to the NOSH Live Summer 2018 Livestream Lounge. My name is Megan McGinnis. I'm a senior reporter at Project NOSH. Right now we have our first ever sampling expo happening, which is super exciting, but maybe even more exciting is the fact that I'm sitting here with Abe, the CEO and founder of True Made Foods. Hey Abe, how are you?
Hey Megan, thanks for having me.
So for those who aren't as familiar with True Made, can you talk a little bit about just how you started the brand and what it is?
Yeah, so we make a ketchup, a barbecue, and a sriracha, and we've removed the corn syrup and added veggies instead. So we're the only ones out there who's using veggies as a natural sweetener. So we are able to significantly reduce the sugar, cut the sugar in half in the ketchup and the barbecue by keeping the same flavor, naturally sweetening with spinach, carrots, and butternut squash, and turning these 170-calorie foods into nutrient-dense, plant-based superfoods.
So how did you come up with this? How did you decide, okay, I'm going to get into condiments. I'm going to be a condiment maker?
Well, there's like three different things. There's like, what drove me to start my own company, right? And then there was the pain I felt, which was the pain at home of being a parent and trying to feed your kids healthy stuff and having this ketchup in the refrigerator that you couldn't get them to stop eating. And I don't know if you know, but ketchup has more sugar than ice cream, ounce per ounce.
So I should just be eating ice cream instead of ketchup?
Put ice cream and you'll do better.
Okay.
Yeah. Or actually even chocolate chip cookies. A tablespoon of Heinz has 4 grams of sugar and a chocolate chip cookie has 3 grams of sugar. So.
That's crazy. So, I mean, that's, I guess, one of the reasons why you thought some of these big brands weren't cutting it. But are there any other characteristics of what was the legacy condiment category that you just felt like you could improve upon?
Yeah, well, what happened is, I was looking at ketchup, and my wife and I were scouring, looking for healthier ketchups to get over this problem. Same with barbecue sauce. Like, we go out to barbecue all the time. We're big fans. But I would stop eating barbecue sauce because I didn't trust any of the barbecue sauces out there, right? And barbecue sauce tends to have double the sugar as ketchup. Sweet Baby Ray's has 16 grams of sugar per serving.
This hurts me.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's like diabetes in a bottle, like literally. And so
you're ruining me.
People must know. Yeah. Must evangelize. We have to tell everybody. So it was driving me crazy. Like, I was going nuts with this stuff. And a guy I knew told me he had tried something like this before because he had his wife had found a recipe online that used veggies, and it just kind of set off a light bulb because. I grew up Italian. We made pasta sauce at home. We always use carrots in the sauce. We never use sugar to sweeten things. And the same, we do that with our chili. We use pumpkin in our chili to sweeten it, things like this. So all kinds of stuff. We were always using veggies to naturally sweeten things. And I was like, well, tomato-based products, if it works for pasta sauce, why doesn't it work for ketchup? And so we pushed forward with that.
Awesome. So now there's this overall trend that we're seeing in the category beyond condiments of just sneaking vegetables into food. Do you think that this has helped you in terms of getting reception from just consumers and retailers as it's starting to enter new categories? It
helps when reporters do stories on people sneaking vegetables in foods and they mention our brand. So
that a hint?
That and anybody else out there listening, if you work for the New York Times or something, please do a story on this. But it's like, we need more stories about this, people talking about it. If that's when it helps a ton. I don't think this is a new trend because I feel like I've been doing this since I had kids, for 11 years and things like that. So, but it's good to see that it's happening and people are catching on.
But as that conversation has kind of evolved and seeped into even just retailer buyers' minds, are you finding that you don't have to work as hard in those pitches or when it comes to the education of why you're doing what you're doing?
When you're talking to retail buyers, it's very strange. Like, really it comes down to personality dependent and things like this. Some of them are quick and fast to love the product and go right after it. Some of them don't even look at it, and they're like, oh, it's just another ketchup. They don't even bother looking at things. So I think you'll ask any brand out there that it's really hard, unless they heard of you through a third source, things like that. So again, the PR helps. Unless they heard of you from third source, or you have a really good broker or salesman network with a connection who can really get the buyer's attention, it doesn't make a difference.
Gotcha. And now we are starting to see also some of these big condiment makers from these legacy brands that were using a lot of sugar starting to come out with new lines in terms of like a Simply Heinz line, or you have Hellmann's moving into natural ketchup as well. Do you think that as an emerging brand, does that help you as a company or does that hurt you?
I think it helps a lot. Here's number one, because they don't make their products any better, right? Simply Heinz is the same amount of sugar as regular Heinz. It's just cane sugar, not corn syrup, right? So it's still 4 grams. Same with Hellmann's, same with French's, things like this. Because they're doing the bare minimum, right? And their processes, they can't repeat our processes because we do a hot fill, they do an ambient fill. If they did what we did, they would lose money because of their cost of operations is so tight, right? So we have a unique advantage, and what's great about it is the more brands that are actually out there on the shelf, especially in ketchup, causes the consumer to look more on the shelf. And so we have a better chance of being discovered and hopefully having our labels compared. Because as soon as somebody reads our label and compares it to what else is out there, we win, right? And that's when we win our customers.
True.
And the problem with ketchup is it's been such a stagnant category for so long. And that's why usually you see ketchup on the bottom shelf in the aisle. It's because people just go and they buy the same thing, they don't think about it, right? So the more brands that are out there, the more choice the consumer has, the more likely they're going to compare labels, the more likely they're going to look. And we have a better chance of being discovered.
I feel like in the condiment space, I've been seeing a lot more call-outs as well in terms of like primal or paleo. Is that something you're seeing as a whole in the category, and why do you think so?
Well, one, I think paleo is super hot, and same with keto and Whole30, things like this. So you're going to have that happen. The other piece is it too is that as those diets come on, people are getting desperately looking for something to add to their meat or to their their veggie dish, or whatever, their bowl, to make it taste better. And I do see a lot of it. Where I see it the most is on Amazon with our Amazon stuff, because we track what search words are being combined with ketchup the most. And keto and paleo are 2 of the big ones, and so that's ones we go after the most with Amazon search words.
And I mean, why are those consumers appealing for you as a company who is not using sugar and using extra vegetables and things like that? Because in other categories that we've looked at with those typical paleo consumers, they are really powerful in terms of just their purchasing power.
Yeah, I mean, what you're having, and again, everybody says don't bet on a diet, and you shouldn't bet on a diet. But I think what's interesting about paleo, keto, Whole30 is it's people who are starting to pay attention and really starting, even though they don't stay paleo or they only do Whole30 for 30 days or whatever it is. From then on out, they're looking at labels and they're paying attention. And those are the type of consumers, those early adopters are the ones you want. And the other thing is they get super excited about your product and they tell other people, right? They're more likely to be evangelists, and you want those evangelists on your side.
Absolutely. Now, looking forward to throughout 2018 and just into the coming years, what do you see for the future of your company, and where do you want it to go?
Well, we want to see Heinz go bankrupt.
Heinz, are you listening?
And then we're going to rename the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium True Made Foods Field, right?
These are some big goals. I like where your head's at. Go big or go home,
Right, exactly. Yeah, anything like that. For short term, what's really exciting right now, and in my personal passion project, is we have a no sugar ketchup coming out. Our current ketchup is 50% less sugar than any other ketchup out there, lowest calorie, lowest sugar on the market from cane sugars, added sugar. We have a no added sugar ketchup coming out. And we're doing the first production run in just a couple of weeks. The demos and the R&Ds have been done. And it's no stevia, no sucralose, no sweeteners like that. It's all fruits and vegetables, and it tastes just like ketchup. It's fantastic. My kids have been eating it for the last couple of weeks, and they don't know, and so. And
if they're watching now, they do.
They should be at school right now, so I hope.
There you go. So when is that going to be hitting shelves?
It's hard to say. We're doing our first production run in a couple of weeks. Okay. We got to try to ping it in front of a couple of brands. We'll probably put it on Amazon first, and so we can see how it does.
How important is Amazon to you right now?
It's one thing I tell other new brands that are starting stuff, not like we're so advanced, but like anybody else who's behind us. I'm like, go on Amazon now, and it's one thing I would have done differently is done a lot more online first, because you can really test your label. Test your marketing strategies, test everything right up front, faster, and reach more people, and build a following a lot quicker. And you see bigger. It's expensive to get launched on Amazon and build it up, but it's a lot. You see a lot return a lot faster than you do in retail. It's not as expensive as retail, and you're not going to get kicked off. It's very hard to get kicked off of Amazon. Well, that's not true. If you mess up like the warehouse, if you ship broken product, if you ship things late, you can get kicked off of Amazon. But if your sales are slow, Amazon doesn't care as much. That's on you. You know, it's not like you're getting there's not a buyer sitting there who's like trying to make his bonus and wants to cut you.
Yep.
Right?
No, I totally understand. Well, I mean, that has been a theme throughout the day, so I am super happy that we were able to end on that note. Thank you, Abe, so much for chatting with us. I really appreciate it. We have to bring on our next guest, but it was so fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored. No, thank you.
Have a good one. I'll chat with you after.